People like games. Present. The At Some Point in the Day Show with Solo.
What's up, what's up? Welcome back to the show. I'm Solo, and for today's episode, I have for you a new mini-series that I'll be doing once every couple of weeks called Gamecasting, in which I try to choose the perfect cast and director to make what I think would be the ideal version or hypothetical version of an ideal gaming movie. And I'm going to start with BIOSHOCK, which is one of my personal favorite games and what IP I believe would potentially be Oscar contending if it was done in a correct manner. However, before I get into that, be sure to subscribe to this channel if you are liking the videos. Show your boy me some love and like this as well. Now, without doing much further, let's get into it. So I'm going to give you a plot synopsis, and then I might expand on some of the characters I'm going to choose casting. There's only going to be 7 from this bunch. Other games might get more, but the plotline of BIOSHOCK, which came out in 2007, is that you play as the protagonist Jack, who in the beginning of the game ends up in an airplane crash and wakes up in the underground dystopian city of Rapture. Not going to explain anything else because, like I said, it being one of my favorite games, I personally think that if you have not played it yet, you should potentially do it. And if you have not any interest in playing it, you should at least watch it, because it is very much a philosophical experience as well. So me just giving you the story straight up is just, I refuse. That is basically the point of what I'm getting at. So now, let us start our casting. Beginning with J.S. Steinman, who I think should be played by Jake Gyllenhaal, or as a secondary, BJ Novak. If, by the way, you happen to think that you have better ideas on this casting, or you have alternatives or criticism, be sure to leave that in the comments too. Now, getting over to number 2, Dr. Yi Su-chung, who I think should be played by Hong Chow, who is the actress that played Lady True on the television adaptation of Watchmen on HBO. If you have not seen it, that show is mad good. You should definitely check it out. It's worth it. Did not get the playtime it deserved, but you should watch it as well. Now, moving into Brigid Tenenbaum, that I think should be played by Jessica Chastain. She's an extremely complex character that ends up playing a role in the sequel as well. And Ken Levine, who is the creator of the BIOSHOCK series, had a huge hand in crafting her story as well. And, you know, between what she did in Zero Dark 30, Molly's Game, her whole career, she's shown the range in that serious, complex role to be able to manage it. And she's just the person that comes to mind visually. So like when you like read a book or you see these characters in your own mind, you're going to be like, oh wait, no, I thought it was this person. Please let me know. But at the same time, that's who came to mind for me. And then a few of them are like variables where I'm like, I could see it. I don't know. But for that, definitely Jessica. I wonder if Ken Levine would agree. I'm going to send this episode to him. Let's find out. Please come on the show, Ken. I love your show. I love all your stuff. And I won't ask you about any of your future games either. Now, moving on to Sander Cohen. I believe that should be played by Christoph Waltz or Willem Dafoe. Those are both incredible actors, character actors in particular, who have shown the range to be both, you know, intelligent and menacing and outrageously violent and refined and cruel and all of the things that you would sort of associate with the character of Sander Cohen. I think those guys have shown in their catalog that they're able to do. So either or, in my opinion, would be amazing. I just love Christoph because I thought he was great in Inglourious Basterds, but Willem Dafoe would probably take it to the next level as well. But either or. Now, moving to the top 3, which I know you all want to hear the most, beginning with Frank Fontaine. This one took a while because you have to find someone who, or think about someone who is like both friendly, but that friendliness you feel can turn on a dime and in an actor sense. To me, that came down to 3 people. It was more so 2. It's 2 and a wild card. So the first up, my primary, I think, is Michael Fassbender. Just a great actor, and I think he would be the sort of also visual version of what an Atlas character would be. sort of like perfectly good, but then you learn more about him. And number 2 was Oscar Isaac, just because he needs to do more roles in Marvel movies. Number 3 was Matt Damon, who's shown in his career to be able to hit a lot of great depths as well. He's not doing as many movies anymore, but Fassbender Damon would be where that goes, and Damon a far second to what Fassbender could bring. Now getting up to what I know people really want to hear. I'm gonna start with Jack before I go to our finale. The protagonist, there's only one person who comes to mind, in my opinion, who can embody this. Chris Evans, who is Captain America. If you haven't seen Knives Out, he was actually great in that as well. And just as he's grown from like his not another teen movie roots to like a pretty great actor who was also in Snowpiercer, which was by Bong Joon-ho, who was a director of Parasite, which was the Oscar winner for the past year, best movie, the Korean film. And so he's shown the range, and you need someone who is that sort of 1940s homegrown American, but the whole story around Jack, which again, I can't really ruin, but I just think that with all the twists and turns that come in, he is the person to play the straight-faced, moral person who is undergoing all of this rather than maybe choosing to go through all this. Hint, hint. Now, Andrew Ryan. This took a long time, and I know a lot of people are going to have opinions on this one. I'm really curious to hear everyone else's opinion, but you might be surprised. For me, it was one of 2 people. It was potentially Brad Pitt was the first who came to mind, because they have to be convincing. And just like a Manchurian Candidate escalator version of a voice and face, I think Brad Pitt would be great, and he's really in a great acting groove and is just getting better and better, and so it might be perfect timing for him. Number 2, Tom Cruise, who has also shown that level of manipulative actor ability, and I think obviously Brad Pitt maybe visually would be great, but I think in the actual acting sense of what you have to accomplish, Tom Cruise would be a surprise great one. Doesn't play a lot of villains, but would be a perfect villain. So Brad Pitt or Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise for Andrew Ryan is where I'm going to go with to end this. Now, let us get to the director, who is, in my opinion, the most important piece to this project, because he, and this could be a she in other instances, so regard. Now, let's get into the director that I personally think is the most important part of all of this. And for me, it is Guillermo del Toro. He has shown in Pan's Labyrinth the ability to make these sort of gothic films, and he's done Hellboy as well. And every time he touches a project, even when he did his most recent one, which I think Man and Sea that he won, that aesthetic was ideally the BioShock Rapture aesthetic, and he has dealt with the monsters and the creatures and the horror worlds as well. And just being a foreign director, he'll have a touch that is less maybe CGI oriented, or is more naturally organically story oriented than comparatively on the action end, which I know BioShock could, because it's an FPS, fall into that, but he's just the guy that needs to do it. So if you took a Guillermo del Toro project with Chris Evans and Brad Pitt and Michael Fassbender and Willem Dafoe and put that together and tried to sell it, I don't know. If you have a better one for this cast in particular, please, like I keep saying, let me know. Definitely curious. This is what came up to me. This was the first of many. It's chill, obviously, as you can tell, Wednesday episode. Just wanted to get something out for you guys. There's nothing going on in the news, so the recap might be a little dry later, tomorrow, that is. But anyway, hope this was fun for you as it was for me. I'm going to be doing it again, 4 different games. Don't know what games. If you have titles, let me know down below. Thank you as always for listening. The socials at peoplelikegames.solo_, the shop plg.gg, which has our men's and women's shop and merchandise on it. And I'll be streaming later at about 9:30, 10 at PLG Live is the Twitch handle for now. Shout out to my 2 first followers on Twitch. I appreciate you. And anyone who's sticking through these early episodes as I get my groove going. So thank you all again, and I hope staying safe, social distancing. If you're in LA, I apologize to hear that shit is 3 months longer for the stay-at-home orders, but I got you, because I got a lot more stuff coming out, and you know how I get out of here. Peace.